The origin of Adidas dates back to the post-World War I period in the town of Herzogenaurach in Bavaria, southern Germany. There lived the brothers Adolf, Adi Dassler, and Rudolf Dassler in a working-class family. Their father worked in a shoe factory, which had a direct influence on the brothers' path. After the end of the war in 1918, Germany was going through a severe economic crisis. In this difficult context, Adi Dassler, passionate about sports and driven by an entrepreneurial spirit, began handcrafting his own shoes. He used recycled materials, such as military tent canvas, tire rubber, and discarded leather, to make shoes at home, using improvised tools. In 1920, at just 20 years old, Adi produced his first pair of sports shoes, specifically designed for running. He wasn't just a shoemaker. He had a technical eye and believed that each sport needed its own specific footwear to improve athletic performance. In 1924, Adolf officially partnered with his older brother, Rudolf Dassler, a former soldier with a more business-oriented mindset. Together, they founded the Gebruder Dassler Schuhfabrik, Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory. The small family workshop soon became a micro-factory, with a few employees and an artisanal production process, but focused on quality and innovation. By 1925, the brothers registered a patent for a football boot with metal studs on the sole, designed to improve traction on wet fields, a significant innovation for the time. This attention to technical detail, combined with a focus on performance, became a defining feature of what would later become Adidas. By the end of 1925, the company was still small, but had already gained recognition among local athletes and sports clubs in Germany. Its reputation for quality and performance was already taking shape, and this was just the beginning of a revolution in the world of sports. From 1926 to 1950, the Dassler Brothers Shoe Factory grew from a small local workshop into one of the most respected names in sports footwear in Germany. By the late 1920s, the factory in Herzogenaurach had expanded its operations, employing dozens of workers and producing hundreds of pairs of shoes daily, all handcrafted with a focus on quality and athletic performance. A major turning point came in 1936, during the Berlin Olympic Games. Adolf Adi Dassler managed to convince American track and field star Jesse Owens to wear a pair of Dassler shoes. Owens, wearing those shoes, went on to win 4 gold medals, catapulting the Dassler name into the international spotlight. This event marked one of the first successful examples of athlete sponsorship, a strategy that would become a pillar of modern sports marketing. However, the following years brought turbulence. In the late 1930s, with the rise of the Nazi regime and the outbreak of World War II, the company was forced to shift part of its production to military equipment, like training shoes for soldiers. The relationship between the brothers also began to deteriorate during the war, driven by personal tensions, conflicting political views, and competition for control of the business. By the end of the war in 1945, their relationship had become irreparable. In 1948, the brothers officially split. Rudolf Dassler went on to found Puma, while Adolf Dassler created Adidas, combining his nickname Adi with the first syllable of his surname, Dassler. In 1949, Adi Dassler registered Adidas as a company and introduced the now iconic 3 stripes, initially designed to provide stability to the shoe's structure. That same year, he also patented a soccer cleat with removable studs, a revolutionary feature at the time, offering better grip depending on field conditions. By 1950, Adidas was already gaining traction in the post-war European market, supplying footwear to professional and amateur athletes across Germany. Adi's focus remained the same, to create high-performance shoes through innovation and athlete feedback, a vision that laid the foundation for Adidas to become a global giant in the decades to follow. From 1951 to 1970, Adidas evolved from a post-war startup into a dominant force in global sportswear. With Europe rebuilding and international sporting events regaining momentum, Adi Dassler seized the opportunity to showcase Adidas innovations on the world stage. A defining moment came in 1954 during the FIFA World Cup in Switzerland. The West German national football team, considered underdogs, wore Adidas boots with removable screw-in studs. These allowed players to adapt their footwear to the muddy conditions of the final against Hungary. West Germany's shocking 3-2 victory, later called the Miracle of BERN, not only symbolized a rebirth for German pride, but also propelled Adidas into international fame. The boots became legendary, and Adi Dassler was recognized as a visionary in sports innovation. Throughout the 1950s and 60s, Adidas expanded rapidly. DASSLER personally maintained relationships with athletes and coaches, using their feedback to refine his designs. Adidas shoes became the go-to choice for Olympic athletes, footballers, and runners around the world. The brand's association with performance and reliability was unmatched. In 1960, Adidas shoes were worn by over 75% of athletes in the Rome Olympics, further solidifying its status as the world's premier athletic footwear brand. During this time, Adidas also began diversifying its product line, adding sports apparel and other equipment. In 1970, Adidas played a key role in football history once again. It provided the official match ball for the FIFA World Cup in Mexico. The Adidas Telstar, a now iconic black and white panel design made to be more visible on black and white TVs. This was the beginning of a long-standing partnership between Adidas and FIFA that continues to this day. By the end of this period, Adidas was not just a shoe company. It was the world's leading sports brand, known for quality, innovation, and its iconic 3 stripes, which had become synonymous with athletic excellence. From 1971 to 1990, Adidas experienced both its golden age and its first major crisis, a period marked by global dominance, iconic products, and internal struggles. In the early 1970s, Adidas solidified its status as a global powerhouse in sportswear. The brand expanded into apparel, launching full sports kits, tracksuits, and accessories, all marked with the signature 3 stripes and the trefoil logo, introduced in 1972. The trefoil symbolized performance and heritage, and became one of the most recognizable brand logos in the world. The 1974 FIFA World Cup, won by West Germany, further boosted Adidas's prominence. As the official ball and boot supplier, the company reinforced its close ties with elite athletes and major sporting events. During the decade, Adidas diversified its presence in sports, including basketball, tennis, athletics, and boxing, while becoming a lifestyle brand embraced by youth culture across Europe and the US. However, in 1978, the company suffered a major loss. Dassler passed away. His death marked a turning point. Leadership of the company passed to his son, Horst Dassler, who had been managing the French subsidiary and was a skilled businessman with a strong vision for international expansion. Under Horst's leadership, Adidas strengthened ties with the Olympic movement, FIFA, and other global sports institutions. But while Adidas thrived in the late 70s, new competitors began to rise. In the United States, Nike gained momentum with its focus on running and lifestyle branding. By the 1980s, Nike and Reebok began taking market share from Adidas, especially in North America. Despite fierce competition, Adidas still had strong moments in the 1980s. It signed high-profile athletes like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in basketball and Ivan Lendl in tennis. The Adidas Superstar shoe became a cultural icon, especially after being popularized by the hip-hop group Run DMC, who famously wore them without laces. Their song My Adidas, 1986, marked the first time a sports brand was embraced by a music movement, and resulted in a groundbreaking endorsement deal between Adidas and the group. Yet, internally, the company struggled. After Horst Dassler's sudden death in 1987, Adidas faced leadership disputes and lacked strategic direction. The Dassler family eventually lost control of the company, and Adidas began to decline in influence compared to its US rivals. By 1990, Adidas was still one of the most recognized brands globally, but it had lost its clear leadership position in the sports market. The next decade would demand reinvention, as Adidas would fight to regain its dominance in a rapidly changing and highly competitive global market. From 1991 to 2000, Adidas underwent a dramatic transformation, a decade of reinvention, recovery, and return to global relevance. At the start of the 1990s, Adidas was struggling. It had lost market share to Nike and Reebok, and after the death of Horst Dassler, the company lacked clear leadership. The brand, though still iconic, had an outdated image and inefficient operations. Adidas needed a bold new direction. In 1993, Robert Louis Dreyfus, a French businessman, was appointed CEO. His leadership marked a turning point. He brought a clear vision: modernize the brand, streamline operations, and refocus on performance and youth culture. One of his key strategies was taking Adidas public. And in 1995, the company was officially listed on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, raising capital to fuel expansion. During this time, Adidas also shifted its marketing strategy. Instead of relying solely on tradition, the brand embraced innovation, bold designs, and cultural relevance. It launched campaigns centered on individuality, such as the famous Forever Sports slogan, and began sponsoring not only athletes but artists and urban influencers. Adidas made a strong return to football, soccer, its historical stronghold. It sponsored top clubs like Bayern Munich, national teams like France, and major tournaments such as the 1998 FIFA World Cup in France, which France won, wearing Adidas gear. This restored the brand's dominance in global football. In the US, Adidas worked hard to regain ground. It signed rising NBA stars like Kobe Bryant and Tracy McGrady, and launched popular basketball shoes that appealed to a new generation. Meanwhile, the Adidas Equipment, EQT line, introduced in the early 90s, emphasized function over fashion, appealing to performance-driven athletes. Perhaps the biggest shift came in 1997, when Adidas acquired Salomon Group, the French sports company known for ski equipment and golf gear, tailor-made. The company was renamed Adidas Salomon AG, aiming to compete across multiple sports markets. Although the Salomon acquisition would later be reversed, at the time it signaled Adidas's ambitions to grow as a multi-sport global brand. By the end of the decade, Adidas had successfully rebranded itself as a modern, innovative, and globally competitive company. It was no longer just a legacy sportswear brand, it was a cultural and athletic force, once again rivaling Nike on the world stage. From 2001 onward, Adidas entered a new strategic and technological phase, aiming to consolidate its position as one of the largest sports brands in the world. At the time, the brand still faced strong competition from Nike, especially in the United States, and was looking for ways to expand its global influence. In 2005, it took a decisive step by acquiring Reebok for about $3.8 billion. The goal was clear: to gain a greater presence in the North American market, especially in sports like American football, basketball, and fitness, where Reebok already had a significant share. This merger created the second-largest sports goods group in the world at that moment, behind only Nike. At the same time, Adidas continued to invest heavily in innovation and design. In 2013, the company launched Boost, a revolutionary cushioning technology developed in partnership with BASF, which started to equip running models like the Ultra Boost, becoming a phenomenon among runners and sneaker enthusiasts. The success was such that the Ultra Boost moved from the tracks to the streets, consolidating the brand in the lifestyle market. In the following years, Adidas reinvented itself through collaborations with pop culture and fashion icons. Partnerships with Kanye West, creating the Yeezy line, Pharrell Williams, Stella McCartney, Beyoncé, Ivy Park line, among others, transformed the brand into a reference not only in sports, but also in style and urban culture. In sports, Adidas maintained its dominance in football, soccer. It continued sponsoring major clubs like Real Madrid, Manchester United, Juventus, and Bayern Munich, as well as historic national teams like Germany and Argentina. It also provided official balls for FIFA World Cups and the Olympics, reinforcing its connection with high performance. From 2015, Adidas began to invest heavily in sustainability. In partnership with the organization Parley for the Oceans, it started producing shoes made with recycled plastics retrieved from the ocean. The Prime Blue line and other environmental projects became an essential part of the brand's new identity, targeting a more conscious consumer. During the 2020 pandemic, the company accelerated its digital transformation, enhancing e-commerce and using data intelligence to personalize the customer experience. It also expanded the concept of interactive physical stores, with spaces that combine experience, technology, and personalization. In 2021, Adidas decided to sell Reebok for about $2.5 billion, refocusing on its main brand and strategic segments like running, basketball, streetwear, and sustainability. Today, Adidas is present in more than 160 countries, generates tens of billions of euros in annual revenue, and maintains a strong connection with youth, sports, and urban culture. Even after more than 70 years since its founding, the company remains faithful to the motto of its founder, Adi DASSLER, to create the best possible shoe for athletic performance, and now also for individual expression. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell.